This is a test of the Boundary Park alert system.
Hey, good evening, guys.
Good evening, guys.
How are we doing? That was smooth transition, wasn't it?
Always. We'll get better. We've only been doing it for 64 episodes.
It's only episode 32.
Yeah.
But been a bit out of sorts lately, not quite at the races. So
We've just been so busy with this live, loud, and beefy planning.
yeah, loads and loads of planning,
Ticket sales,
all sorts of stuff going on.
cash prizes. How's your week been, Matt?
Yeah. What day is it? Wednesday. Football Monday. Football Saturday. Friday, sorry. Gigs at the weekend. 2 gigs just back to Thailand over the weekend. One at the Hope and Anchor in Royton. That was good. One in Burnley. That was good. Yeah, all go. What about you?
Yeah. Just back off my holidays. And football Friday. Very disappointed from the result against Altrincham.
Mm-hmm.
And I was amazed by the quality of football on Monday. But we did the job. We won. So yeah, 4 points out of 6. Should have been 6 points, but it's not that bad, is it? We're clear of relegation now, I would say. I think it's fair.
Yeah, pretty much. Just need another win, really, don't we? Beat Maidenhead and should be okay. There's a public service announcement here. Anyone rag pudding, contact Lynn Stevenson. She makes great rag puddings.
Thanks, Lynn.
Thanks, Lynn. But it's good to know if you're after a rag pudding.
Have you ever tried rag pudding?
Yeah, lovely.
Really? I'm not a fan.
I know.
No, it's the suet pastry.
I like the suet
No,
pastry,
I'm not
yeah.
keen. Not my
Do you know what suet is?
pastry.
No, but do you know what suet pastry is? What
It's
it
like
is?
dumpling.
It's it's made with the fat from around a cow's kidneys.
Nice.
Which is nice.
So yeah, if you want to try a cow's kidney pudding,
what is rag pudding? Well, it's a pudding made from the
Pure
fat
rags.
from a cow's kidneys,
and it tastes like pure rags. No, it's not my.
It's
not
beefy.
my vibe. Yeah, beef paste though.
Yeah. So listen, on bread.
That's copyrighted to me. Sexy day.
Bob had one tonight and missed out once. I had one tonight and missed out once. I'm not sure. I'm not quite following.
Are you drunk, Rob?
Yeah.
Bob, even.
Football related matters, Latics related. Thoughts on season ticket prices? Early bird looks good. I think that is an excellent price, isn't it?
Do you know what's a more excellent price?
What?
£15 for live, loud, and beefy.
Yeah.
No. In seriousness, it's a great price. £286. Can't fault it, mate.
I know. I think it's really good. They've obviously had to go up a little bit. They'll go up again next year, I should imagine, because there'll be less money coming into the club for the parachutes. We might get promoted, who knows? But
do you think we will?
Is it going to be 3 up, 3 down next season?
Well, according to Mark White in that video, it is.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Because everything you see on Twitter is true.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. Yeah. Right. So tonight, we need you to phone in. We've got one caller waiting. Right. If you have never called in before and you want to win, you want tickets to Loud and Beefy, we're giving away 2 tickets to the first time caller that calls in tonight. So if you've never called in, this is a good excuse to call in, pick up your free tickets.
But you have to be over 18.
You have to be over 18, and you can't just come on just to collect your tickets. You have to actually say something as well.
Yeah, and it's got to be something engaging, exciting.
Well, you never say anything engaging or exciting, so why should they?
First time.
I tell you what, tell you who is engaging and exciting and very cool, and has got his top on.
For a change.
The captain.
The dogger.
You know what you said you had to be over 18? Did you mean mentally or just...
we don't discriminate against
I'm not sure I'd qualify.
All right. Well, we'd be fine. You'd be fine. You'll be fine, mate. You'll be fine.
It's all right. I'll take my ID with me.
What's the hat?
It's it's a bit of a running joke, really, but my mates call me the captain
Why?
because I'm the captain of the ship wherever I go.
What?
Do you wear that hat wherever you go?
If I go out, yeah.
Will you be wearing it at the Live, Loud and Beefy event?
Oh, don't you worry, it's in the back pocket.
Excellent. Did you wear it at the football over the weekend? Did you go to both the games?
No, I didn't go to any.
Why?
Friday, I was watching the game, as you lot call it, with the wrong shape. And Monday I was fishing, in fact.
Ooh.
Well, I'm not going to say that you made bad choices, Captain, because they weren't two football spectacles, really, were they?
I've heard all about them, and I've heard they were absolutely dire. But if we can get a win, I'll take that. It'll be dire all year if we go up next year. I mean,
what do you think of this? Clark should not be kept on next season. Presume that means Peter Clark as opposed to Jordan Clark, who should obviously be kept on.
Yeah.
And on another note, if John Rooney is our best player next season, as he is now, then we will be nowhere near promotion. We need better. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I do agree, but Paddy needs to worry more about getting 4 wheels.
Right.
Is that because he's got no wheels?
Well, apparently so. On Twitter, he has. Yeah, he's got no wheels.
Oh, wow. Yeah. You're here all week.
I think that it's a good point. I mean, we've got Bob has said here again that Rooney's playing great football now. Like, if that's the sort of, if we're building on the quality of that, then that's a big step up.
Well, I
building
think
on the quality that we've had in the last few seasons.
You know, going from the piss taking, if you're being serious, I think Rooney's much improved the past sort of 5 or 6 games, maybe. Even from Christmas-ish, Rooney is much improved, and we look kind of when he, if he doesn't perform or he gets taken off or doesn't play, we look a bit clunky, don't we, and a little bit sort of clueless. But yeah, I think 1 or 2 more additions in midfield, and Rooney. I think Rooney's a good addition. Keep him 1 or 2 more, and I think we'll be looking all right. To be fair,
what positions do you think we need desperately?
Well, we need a right back, I think.
Yeah.
But I'd say 2 more central midfielders who look like they can produce something. Rather, Dan Gardner looked an absolute world in front of everybody the first game of the year. Torquay away. I thought he might be all right. We knew he'd struggle with injuries and stuff, but he seems to have sort of been in and out, and he's had the odd sort of 30, 40 minutes where he looked all right, hasn't he, since then? If we can get someone like that who can sort of throw the ball about, it looks like he's going to create something, I think we'll be fine. Maybe another striker, maybe another more, but...
Oh, we definitely we need someone who's going to bag us 20 plus goals next season. There's no doubt about that. Whether that can be Alex Reid, whether it can be Joe Nuttall, we've yet to see whether we've, given the service that those 2 players might be able to do it. I think we definitely need width. We don't know what system he's going to play, do we, either? We don't know, if he's going to play with wing backs, then he's going to need to get a right wing back. Rooney needs to play in the middle, but he also needs... I think there needs to be more legs in there, like legs that can actually do something with the ball, because Sheeran and Shelton just seem to sort of shadow each other, don't they? And don't get forward. Like none of them 2 ever run ahead when we get the ball. They just sit back all the time, and it's annoying.
Shelton was so bad on Monday. He was such...
I mean,
it was woeful to watch, in my opinion. I thought he had a really bad game.
Yeah, I can't comment because I didn't watch it. I didn't even watch it on me... on the match pass. I didn't even bother with that. But they just seem very, very passive and very sort of like reluctant to go forward. They're just too safe, aren't they? If they can't, they go a lot sideways, or backwards, and it's kind of frustrating a little bit because you just want someone to get hold of the ball and get hold of the game and just have a go. But I think that's what's frustrating everybody. I'm not saying they're not capable of it, but together they're very, very average, aren't they?
Well, they're very defensive minded, and whether or not people have been giving Unsworth a lot of grief for being defensive and stuff. I think personally that he's doing this. He's setting the team up to make us more difficult to beat, which we have been than we were earlier on in the season. There's been some stats recently about us scoring more goals than anybody else, apart from Wrexham or Notts County, since Christmas. I saw that. So I think when you break some of this stuff down and look at it, and as football is done now, like, you know, people looking at all the stats and stuff like that, I'm sure according to a lot of the stats, we're heading in the right direction, even if watching it is painful at times and it's not enjoyable. I think there are reasons to think we're going in the right direction. I can't see that anyone who has got aspirations of going to win, to get promoted next season, as David Unsworth has, as the club have, there's no doubt about that. That can't be argued. There's no way Unsworth next season is hoping to play defensively so that we finish mid-table. He wants to get promoted. He wants to be at least in the playoffs. He knows full well you're going to have to attack and score goals to do that. So it's going to be different next season. It has to be different next season.
I think Aaron makes an excellent point. Reed starts, we tend to win. But we most certainly get a result. I think he's probably been one of our standout players, I think, since the turn of the year. I think he's played really well because it didn't really go for him before Christmas, did it?
No, I've enjoyed Devon Green having a go as well.
Yeah,
I mean, he might lack a bit of quality at times, and the final ball might not be brilliant. But at this sort of standard, what do you expect? You know, it's not going to be brilliant, but at least, you know, he seems to be trying. He seems to be having a go. He's willing to attack. He's willing to take somebody on, and willing to fire a ball into the box.
Yeah, got a couple of goals as well now, hasn't he?
Yeah. So hopefully it can come good, and I'm hoping that, you know, he might stay next year and we crack on.
So, I think he's done all right. I think he's given himself a chance. I think it kind of depends on what system Unsworth wants to play next season. Does he want to play with a?
I think it's the players in it. The recruitment will then factor the system, I think.
No, I think the other way around. I think the Unsworth now and the coaching team have a style that they want, and they're sending the recruitment team out to find those players. It has to be that way around, because in the past, that's what we've done. We've recruited anyone who'll sign, and then we try and build a squad, a way of playing around it, and that doesn't work. So obviously he's got an idea of what he wants, and now he's got to recruit around that. So, like Ted, we've got quite a few people lined up now. So will you do me a favour, because I need you to promote us live and beefy. Will you just quickly give us say, will you buy your tickets?
Get your tickets for live. Get your tickets for live, loud, and beefy. The captain will be there, shades and hat. That's worth the £15 alone.
Alone, you've been told.
And he'll be naked everywhere else.
And on that bombshell. Thanks for calling in, mate.
Cheers,
no
mate.
problem. See you later.
See you soon. Ta-ra. Right, so the first new time caller that came in was, who was it?
Beardy, if he's there.
Hello, Beardy.
I am here. I'm just not got my camera on because I've got a poorly dog next to me, and my lighting's not as good as yours. So, how are we doing?
All right. How are you?
I'm all right, me.
Good.
I'm just getting over Monday's fun game. Yeah,
it was fun, wasn't it? What do you make of that? Have you seen the footage of the goal where Scunthorpe passed it around for like a good minute, 90 seconds, like passed it all around? Had a shot that went off target, and then Magnus Norman punts one up, flick on goal.
That's just. I think that's ideal for our season. That's what we needed. You know, teams can play around us. I mean, I've watched some of these games this season where we've had an absolute tonking because teams have played like that, and the likes of Bromley, Woking, they've all done us. And then you go to Scunthorpe and they try to do it, and we get the luck for once. We never have it. Yeah,
and all the luck's against them, innit, at the minute, because they played all right, didn't they? They were probably the better team in many respects on Monday, but they weren't dangerous in front of goal, whether the shots were. Norman made one good save, didn't he? But otherwise they were a bit blunt-toothed before that.
On the question you put on Twitter before, you said, something about Sambu looking good. And I think I wrote on Twitter that Scott McNiven would look good against them. And that's how bad they were. And, anyone could do kick-ups in a park. That's how it felt, because he was doing all his little flicks and tricks, but they weren't doing anything. So
I thought he made a bit of an impact on the game because I thought we were really struggling before he came on.
I think you've got to give him some credit. I thought he looked hungry. He looked like he wanted to score. He was getting stuck in. He was running things down. He did all right. I mean, this is the thing, because I stand next to my brother, and there's no bigger whinging get than my brother. And he's always criticizing everything. And I said, Si, look, you've got to just lower your expectations a little bit for now, because otherwise you'll drive yourself insane. Because we're in the 5th division. Like, you know, we haven't got brilliant players at the minute. We're like got to build next season. Hopefully, we will have some good players. But you know, you just try and sort of like isolate what people are doing quite well, and sometimes that might just be their effort and the work rate and closing down and real basic stuff, as opposed to, you know, absolute brilliance. You know what I mean, Beardy?
Well, you've got to look at it from a point of, if you were 15 to 20-year-old now, you've never had anything that you know, Matt, we've had some form of success where they've had nothing, and their expectations are nowhere near where ours kind of were. You know, everyone's talking about Unsworth and the management side of it. I remember Wadsworth. I remember Dave Penny. I remember some of the dross we used to play under them. And I just think, I just want some stability with club. I'm not bothered about who's in charge, as long as we've got stability and we've got someone who's actually there for the long haul, rather than just someone who's going to come and go. You know, like what they did, the old owners did, with every single manager that we had. So
I think it brings up an interesting point, that, because, you know, some of the younger fans as well have grown up in a culture where managers get fired a lot. And that's what happens, you know what I mean? And don't remember the days of stability. And I'm not just talking about at Oldham, but obviously at Oldham as well, but in football in general. And it seems to be that there's this kind of like, and I think that might be a thing about, like, a generational thing, really. And like, I'll set the manager, it's not working, but we've seen time after time after time how it doesn't work. I mean, I was thinking the other day about Richie Wellens.
Yeah,
like there was we got relegated under Richie Wellens. I remember having an argument with Adam Keeley back in the day. This was before I knew Adam Keeley, about Richie Wellens. I was saying how I would keep him on. I thought that he'd done really well, and there was other issues. Now, obviously, it was never going to work with the Lemsgams, but look at him now. Look how well Richie Wellens has done. And there was people in our fan base at the time who, because we got relegated under him, were like, get rid of him, he's crap. And there's just no sort of like, no patience. And it's just...
There's no patience in football, is there, at all?
I know, but patience can be rewarded, can't it, in football as well? I think that's the key. But I think it's interesting that some of our younger fans have just grown up in that culture, and it's kind of like the first thing to go to is, I'll sack the manager.
It'd be good to hear what they think about it all, because I think, I'll be honest with you, I don't kind of log in normally on a Wednesday night. This is the first time, so. But I've not heard any.
Never mind.
I know, I do listen to your own podcast. I'd like to hear from like younger people and what they think of it, like the under 20s.
So would we, but they don't listen to a couple
bother.
of bloody old idiots like us, do they?
Vaping and skateboarding or whatever they do.
TikToking.
Yeah.
No, but it's serious though, Beardy. You're our first-time caller. Hopefully you'll ring again, but you have won, if you're available, the 2 tickets for Live Loud and Beefy.
It's the only reason I got on board.
The only reason. That's all right, though. We wanted to encourage first-time callers, so it worked. So that's good, yeah. Right, nice one, mate. Thanks for getting in touch.
Just email us or tweet us, DM us.
We'll sort it out.
We'll sort it all out, mate, so don't worry.
Right, don't stop watching now, will you?
No, the heck.
All right, mate. We've got them lined up here, so we'll get through some more callers. All right, all the best, pal.
See you in a bit, pal.
See you later. Paddy's got another point here. The older element of our fan base was our older element of our fans are always mourning. It doesn't mean they're not mourning and giving in grief. I mean, it was a separate point, But yeah, I mean, it's across the fan base, isn't it? I mean, I know Gaz is lined up here. We'll talk to Gaz in a bit. He was on the podcast on Monday, and he mentioned something about 75% of the fans being against. I mean, pulling stats out your arse, Gaz. But we'll come back to that, mate, because there's no grounds to say 75%. But we'll come back to Gaz. We've done the captain. We've got another first-time caller who missed out literally by
hashtag get the beef in.
You missed out, Dale, by literally a second or two, mate.
Do we have a runners-up prize?
Yeah, you're a live caller.
I'll tell you what, you can have a spin of the wheel.
Spin of the wheel if you want. Should we?
Yeah, well, let's chat to him first.
Yeah, right,
let's chat to him first.
Chill out,
all right,
chill
all right.
out,
You can't wait to get your hands on that wheel, can you?
How
are you doing?
Good.
Yeah, not bad, mate. You?
Yeah, all right. Yeah. What was that you put on Twitter about the podcast needing to apologise?
Oh yeah. So there's rumours circulating that the podcast is anti-get the badging.
Why is that then?
I don't know. Someone said, I think it's Big Dave, I think.
Me? What?
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't give. To be clear, I couldn't give two shits about getting the badge in either way, one way or another.
I
so
have a few Stone Island and a CP company, so you're damn wrong. So I just don't have to put it on Facebook.
And like I said, I don't care either way. So I would say that we are GTBI neutral.
Get the beef in
on this podcast, Dale. So
GTBIN.
Yeah.
Get bin.
Have you got any more points, or was that it?
No, do you know, in terms of like obviously the team and that and what we're lacking for next season, I think we're missing something like in the middle where we've got like a bully.
Yeah.
I think we've missed that for years. Do you know somewhere teams are going to come and they know they're going to struggle in the middle because they seem to just walk through like hot knife through butter.
I think the Wrexham game last week really showed that. We didn't make the game difficult for them, did we? We didn't just say, you know what, if you're going to beat us today, you're going to have to really fight for it. They just played through us and just took the piss.
I think it's been every game, pretty much. The midfield has been dross. The only
one.
I'm
saying, it's just non-existent. Like I said, it's just like a hot knife through butter, and they're just walking through us like they can just pick us off in the middle.
Do you know? One thing for me though is that I think against Scunthorpe when they started putting the pressure on and Hogan went off with his groin injury, when they brought Clark on, I think they should have done that against Altrincham because I think that sometimes his mentality and his behaviours on the pitch can cause the guys, the other team, the team around us to be nervous, because when we conceded against Altrincham, I knew we were going to concede again. There's just no two ways about it, and I think we need a real leader because I don't think Hogan's that player. If I'm honest with you, he needs a good team.
Do you know what though, Dave? I dread us going 2-0 up because we can't. For some reason, we cannot defend a 2-0 lead, and I don't know what. As soon as we go 2-0 up, in fact, it's going to change.
Have we dropped something like 17 points this season from winning positions?
Yeah,
that's the stat that
I just think
we're
just missing someone in the middle that's just willing to take big risks in the middle and just go through players hard. I think we've missed that for years. I don't really think we've got anyone at the minute that's really doing much like that. I think we've got John Rooney, but he's not doing much in terms of we're missing like a Darren Sheridan in the middle kind of player.
The last player I saw who we had any of that ilk, who had a bit of quality, and he was only here for a very short time, was is it Chris McCann? He came on against Salford and showed it up when Danny Rowe scored, and he was a bit tough, got his foot in, but he could pass the ball as well. But no one.
I think that's the thing. I think that's the key.
He was like a brick wall, wasn't he? Do you know what I mean?
That's the key.
Do you know what?
Someone who can break the play up and actually do something with it.
I'm a big fan of that Forshaw, me. I think we should be giving him, even if it's 10 minutes at the end of every game for the last 4 games, get him used to the atmosphere because he's bagging for them. He was on 30-odd goals, I think, now, isn't he?
I think something like that might happen when we're safe. I can't see him taking any chances like that. Until we're actually safe, to be honest. But yeah, absolutely. I'd love to see that every season. You look at Will Sutton, holding his own. All right, he's certainly not the finished article yet, and he's playing out of position. But sometimes when they have to get chucked in, they have to step up, don't they? And they do.
Yeah,
we've seen it numerous times.
I don't know what it is with the club, with the youth team. Like, what did we not see in Harry Vaughan? What all these other teams have seen?
Yeah, it's a good point.
You know what I mean? Like, we've got a manager who was supposed to be the manager of the under-23s at Everton, whose job it was to bring through youth players, and we're not seeing the talent that we've got at Latics.
And well, hopefully it's all going to change going
Yeah.
forward. You know, we've got there has to be that production line in order for the club to be sustainable. We're going to have to sell talent, and we're only going to sell it if it's in the shop window. I think, unfortunately for us, being in the National League doesn't help. They don't get the kind of exposure that they would do in the Football League in terms of, and also they're playing at a certain this level rather than Football League level. I think that the Harry Vaughan move was the best move for Harry Vaughan. To be honest with you, I think he's going to, absolutely. So I think he's going to grow a lot, you know, in stature, and he's playing and training with much better players up at Hull than he is down here. So
I think I read something as well where he's earned himself a first team spot already, aren't he? With his,
he's in the first team training now, and he's got his room in the first. He's in the dressing room with the first team now, so he's like within the squad, isn't he? Sort of thing. So
and I think at the end of the day, they made a decision that obviously they're going to have got a good sell on clause for him, you would imagine, and hopefully he'll break into the whole squad and do well, and then get a pretty quick big money deal, and the cash will come into club quite soon. It's just when sometimes you just have to write it off. Don't you?
Luamba? He seems to have gone a bit quiet, hasn't he?
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's just he doesn't. He's not really.
We've got some really good youth kids, haven't we? And I just think. I don't know. Like you said, it might be this league where we can't utilise them, but
we'll just have to wait and see. We'll just have to hope
really good young players.
We'll just have to hope that we start seeing the fruits of it, won't we? Like it's good for everybody. So I'm sure the club will do that. Shall we give him a spin of the wheel then, Dave?
Yeah. Well, you need to do the banner, don't you, and everything. So
do we need to do all that?
We do, yeah, of course
sorry, mate.
We'll do it for nothing.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Wheel of Wonder.
Thanks, Matt. And tonight's prizes are a Boundary Park Alert System t-shirt, a jar of beef paste, a signed photo of Matt and Dave, an OAFC replica shirt, an OAFC set of coasters of 4, Mike Keegan, This Is How It Feels book, 2 complimentary tickets for the next home game. However, if you get a red card from the ref, you get nothing on the Wheel of Wonder! Just step round.
Right, it's exciting that, Dale, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can you see it? You want some beef paste? Well, we'll see what we can do. So when we said 3, 2, 1, we want you to say spin the wheel. 3, 2, 1.
Spin thy will.
Watch the microphone. Fucking hell.
We're not too right, Paula.
Oh, it's a signed picture of Matt and Dave.
Signed picture, framed.
Unlucky.
That's going to go right up Mrs.'s wall, that.
Well, we can't be held responsible for any divorce that you may have.
Well, you know that underwear shoot that we did, Dave?
Yeah.
We'll use them ones.
What, with the Y fronts, yeah?
The Y fronts,
and the G string.
Yeah.
Are they clean?
Right.
They were.
No comment.
They were, weren't they?
Yes, some signed
Started
underpants from
clean,
Matt. Well, yes,
They ended up covered in beef paste.
Another brown stains.
Thanks for calling in, Dale.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Thank you.
All right, mate.
Thanks,
Take
man.
care, pal. Bye now.
Bye.
Rubbish prize, that, innit?
We need a. No, don't put that one on. That one.
The prize that money can't buy. Lucky Dale.
Well, yeah, put that one on. Yeah. Right. Anyway, let's move on to the next caller
Shall we talk to wee Graham from north of the border?
from Dumbarton or Dunfermline.
Hello, Graham.
Hi guys.
How you doing?
I'm okay. I've been off work for a while with mental health, but you guys, your podcast and your phone-ins keep me going.
All right.
That's good to hear, mate.
Good man.
Which I
Okay.
appreciate, and I agree with what you said in the podcast the other day about Unsworth. He's turning it around. Do you know what I mean?
I think incrementally. I think a lot of the differences that are going on we don't necessarily see because people will say, you know, like it's not great to watch. We know that, but what's being done in the background, what's being done in the club,
Infrastructure.
and all the stuff that we don't see, and that I think is important. And we're never really going to get a window into that, are we?
No. We took over when he took over. Frank took over. We basically had no appliances, no office, no nothing. 2 members of staff that were inexperienced, basically, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So he turned it around. He's put staff in. He's built up Wembley. He's done all that. I mean, at the end of the day, as long as we're safe this year, it doesn't matter where we finish. We can finish 20th and still stay up. It doesn't matter.
No.
Because it's building the infrastructure. I mean, my mate Gary had a point as well. He says, like, if we can build the infrastructure and Notts County disappear and Wrexham disappear, then we should have a good shout next year.
Yeah. I mean, he's as vulnerable as any manager is. And, you know, I'm fully expecting things to be a lot better next season. And if they're not, he'll have to go. But that's the same for any manager. You know, like, we're not sort of like happy clapping David Unsworth for the sake of it. We're just trying to put into context how difficult the season it's been, how difficult the transition's been, and the quality of the players that we've had has been poor. Now I feel like we've got a baseline of a squad that when you start adding some real quality in there, it's going to be a much better team, and that's what we're all hoping for next season.
Totally. The only problem I have is one of my favourite players. He's been on the bench the last few games. He's not come on the park at all. I don't know what's happened to him. Helm Hope.
He came on against Altrincham for about the last.
When I mean come on, I mean he's not like come on like and done anything. He's just come on and just like. Do you know what I mean?
I think he's had such a bad year, Hallam Hope, with you know the incident in the car park and and then his injury. He's going to be way off fitness, isn't he? You know, I think he's probably going to get the odd run out. Maybe, like we said before, when we're mathematically safe, you might get a few more minutes on the pitch towards the end of the season. I mean, it's nearly the end of the season now, but I think sometimes they've just got to sort of like, you know, bring them back a little bit. And yeah, I don't think we're going to see too much from him. I would imagine he's quite a way off full match fitness. So yeah, he did right. He was doing well, wasn't he, at the start of the season before he got
a little bit of form, didn't he? So in terms of next season, then what would your expectations be for Oldham, Graham? If looking at it from where you are.
Well, I'm watching two teams near destructing this year. I mean, like Oldham's kicking on, but like Dumbarton took an 11-point lead at the top of the table and turned into 9 points behind now.
You're joking?
No. We after Christmas we took a nosedive, and we've Stirling Albion, who were below us 11 points behind us, have now went 9 points ahead of us with 40 play.
Goodness me.
But this is the thing with football, isn't it? In a football season as well, it's like looking at the top of our division now, Notts County and Wrexham, right? Yeah. Both lost 2 games, I think it is. Well, Notts County lost 3 now. 103 points, whatever. That is so unusual that teams are so consistent through a season like that and just keep winning games like that. It's just it really doesn't happen. Most teams have bad spells in the season, and sometimes they come at the beginning of the season, sometimes come at the end of the season. Chesterfield have managed to stay in the playoff places because they had such a good start to the season, but then they've had a bad run towards the end of it. That's what normally happens over a season.
Oh, it's painful. I've been watching like Oldham and Dumbarton. Like I had one telly with the Dumbarton like stream and had the Oldham game on the National League stream beside each other because I've been off for a while, and it's horrible. But I would take top 6 is playoffs, top 7.
Yeah,
Scotland is top 4.
Next season might be different though. We've not had anything official, but maybe next season will be 3 up, 3 down. I hope it is.
I mean, I'm not bothered about winning the league, right? I mean, obviously, I want to win the league. I want to see both my teams win the league, right? But see if David Unsworth comes out, builds a squad, right, and we make a good push. And my philosophy is, as long as the players are trying, you can see they're trying. I'm happy, but see if you see them and they just go through the motions.
Yeah.
And see if we were to get relegated this year, but I seen the team playing amazing every week. They were giving their 100%, throwing themselves in front of every ball.
I don't think there's any excuse.
I just think it's going to be the first 10 games of the next season are going to be vital for David Unsworth, because if he doesn't get the results, I think the pressure will be insurmountable. I don't think the board will have anywhere to go. Some fans want him to go. A lot of people want like us, want the board to make the right decisions. At points this season, I admit I wanted him to go, but I think the first 10 games, if we're not anywhere near the top 6, I think it will be.
I think a solid start is needed. It doesn't have to be exceptional, but it needs to be solid. Like you need to be.
I don't know.
I just think because, like we said, like teams grow into the league. Just because you go out of the blocks and fly doesn't mean you're going to win the league. Like it's a marathon, not a sprint, and it is up and down. So I mean, I'm just trying to temper my expectations personally from that point of view. But we'll see.
I can't say anything.
You guys are going to mock me and hanging me here, but I don't think the first 10 games right, because I'm one of these weird people, right? I think like in Scotland there's 4 quarters, right? You have 9 games and then you have another 9 games. We play each other 4 times, 2 home, 2 away, but in National League you play each other twice.
Yeah.
Right. I'm thinking we should let them have like the first round of fixtures against each team, because we don't know what the first 10 is going to be, because the first 10 might be the top 10 right now.
Be too late, mate. I think that'd be too late, in my opinion.
No, I get that. I'm not saying. I mean, do you know what I mean?
I understand. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I think 10 games.
For talking sake, if Notts County don't go up, right, we could get Notts County, Chesterfield, all the big teams in the first 10 games, right, and it's not showing us anything, because, like I say, they're kind of a wee bit ahead of us, like in terms of readiness, if that makes sense.
I know what you mean, but I mean, I think if we've got aspirations to go up next season, then we've got to be trying to beat. We've got to try and be beating those teams, and we've got to be one of the teams that teams fear. So anyway, we've got a couple more calls to get through. So thanks for getting in touch, Graham. All the best, mate. Look after yourself.
Thanks for all your work on the podcast and the phone in. It's appreciated, because it does help me. It gives me my relief.
Just reach out if you want to talk, mate. We're
here every Wednesday.
Yeah, every Wednesday, and just one from Bob Isaac say you're never alone. Especially want to talk about how you feel. If it is depression or anxiety, we're all there for you. And I think every Oldham fan who watches the show echoes that. So really take care of yourself, mate. Yeah.
Thanks. I appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
All right, mate. Look after yourself, Graham. Take care, pal. Yeah. Right. Let's have this fella on. Gary, come on.
Gazapalooza.
Where are you?
All right, gents.
Show yourself.
Show yourself.
I'm just heading into. Just been
put your pants back on. Here he is. Always put his gilet on. Ooh.
Oh, are you all right?
Working this gilet.
Ooh.
It's a ghosting badge, this one.
Oh, is it got a badge on it?
It's a ghosting badge. How are we?
I got some swimming badges.
I've got.
Listen, there was a question. Where was it? What do you class as a solid start? So let's forget this season, Gaz, because he's not going anywhere. We know your feelings about the manager, but he's not going anywhere. So let's.
I've not said much about the manager and how I feel about it, but yeah, go on to next season.
Yeah, because I just said then about we need a solid start. It doesn't have to be like spectacular. You don't have to win the first 10 games and have 30 points. I mean, it'd be brilliant if we did, but like that's probably unrealistic. I think a solid start is like, I don't know, unbeaten in the first 10, winning more than you draw, winning your own games, drawing away, for example. What would you class as a solid start for the manager, and what would make you change your sort of views of?
Just to echo what I said on Sunday, really Saturday, that I think it's down to the performances. If the performances are poor and we're picking up results, it won't matter as much. But it's as soon as those performances stay the same and we don't pick up results. And I mean, and I don't even think people would accept being unbeaten. Maybe not unbeaten because obviously the stats are there for all to see. But if it's poor and we're picking up points, I don't think people will take that. I think first 10 games, we need to be in and around the top 5 comfortably.
We need to be in and around the top 5, playing really well and winning games, and not. So if we win the first 3 games, but we're not playing well. But I mean, I'll take that.
Oh. Yeah, no, I think let me give you. We're hypothesising, aren't we? But I reckon,
exactly.
I reckon if we were 7th or 8th, but not playing well, I don't think that'll change people's opinions much. I think because I just don't think when it's not convincing and you're so early on into the season, you then start thinking about self-preservation. Say, well, can we waste the following 38 games? So I think it's always going to be that. If the football's poor, there's always going to be questions, and questions come from doubt, don't they? And there's just too much doubt at the moment.
If we played like we did against Scunthorpe in the first 8 games, and let's say we're unbeaten, let's say 4 wins, 4 draws, what would you think then?
I think it will depend on the opponents and where they are in and around the table at that time. What would you say then?
I tell you what I'm saying is right, let's get through the end of the season.
You've just asked about next season, though.
I know, yeah, but what I'm saying now, let's get through this season, right? Let's buy our season tickets, which have been priced really well, right? Let's go into next season from the first game, make tons of noise, home and away, get behind the team. Let's not worry about thinking. Let's just get behind them, take one game at a time, and let's try and let's just do that instead of people sort of well, if he does this, that will you just said hypothesizing. It's just there's no point, is there?
But you've just asked, so I'm going to hypothesize because you asked.
That's true, but I was asked what a solid start. Would.
If the thing is, people
can't do these kind of shows without hypothesizing, can we?
People are going to get behind the club. People will get behind the team, and at the start of the season, because we're all.
But will they get behind the manager?
They will at the start of the season. Yeah, people will be in that ground, and if they bought season tickets and they supported the team, they will. No one's going to call for his head on the first game, even the most diehards who don't want him there. They will get behind the club. I just think that. I think what concerns me at the moment is when he said a few weeks ago, we're planning for next season now, and this is where you'll start to see what we're going to look like. Well, if this is what we're going to look like, he's got to win a lot of games for it to not to be unrest amongst the fans. He has to win a lot of games. If we're going to play how we played, if we're going to go for that, look, effective, get points, and that's just how it's going to be. He's got to win games. Then we can't come away with 1-1 draws or 2-2 if we're playing like that. And I think people need to stop comparing us to Wrexham and saying, well, they don't play attractive football and it's going to be like that. Wrexham do mix it up and they're not as pretty as Notts County, but they're not the shite that we're seeing.
Totally, no.
Well, they score 1.5 of the goals from set pieces, so that they're effective and they have a style of player that
they have quality.
We would take that. The set pieces is not a problem that at all.
Do we want to be losing 56 grand a week? We don't, do we? We don't want our club to be losing 56 grand a week because that's unsustainable. We can't afford it. And that's what Wrexham are doing. So that's how Wrexham are trying to get.
Well, Wrexham can afford it, can't they? That's
right. So and we can't. So we can't compete in that level. So we all want it all, and we all want it now. But it's going to take a little bit of time. And I think this season is that time where we just kind of okay.
What do you disagree with, Gaz?
That we want it all and we want it now. We absolutely don't. It's not that, is it? I think what the main thing that comes from this at the moment is that you got even the 2 games at the weekend, they're dead rubber. So there is, people aren't daft. You can see you're pretty much playing for nothing. Scunthorpe, to say they were fighting for their lives, were laughable. Really, you'd have been absolutely fuming if that was us. I think even we went down with more fight than that, didn't we, last season?
Yeah.
But it is down to the performances. I don't know who said it to you, who was on earlier. I think Paddy commented, it was a lot of the older time supporters calling for Unsworth out on Monday. And they were, at the second half, I went and stood at the top, watched the full game sober. I'll never do that again. And it was some of the older generation of supporters who were really, really getting fed up. And there were arguments between supporters, and the narrative was, we're not entertained, it's boring. And I can see to an extent, when he's playing a dead rubber, at least try and be entertaining and do something. It's the one time when you can perhaps take the handbrake off and try something new.
I don't think we've got the players for it, though, guys. I don't think our players, the current players that we've got, they're not good enough. They're just.
But it's signed what it is.
And I think it was. I think those players have been signed to keep us in the division, because as opposed to being
Unsworth brought in to keep us in the division. No chance.
Well, it was this season. The job this season was to keep us in the division. He didn't bring him into. He did not bring him into
because we thought we would get going down. We didn't.
No, they brought him in with the view to him taking us up, but not this season. That was never the plan.
But he wasn't brought in this season to keep us up. No way.
That was first priority, was to keep us in the division.
Yeah,
we didn't change managers to stay up. We didn't change managers to stay up.
We did what? So
we were, because I think we're about 16th when Shez left. I think.
But the priority for this season was to stay in the division.
Yeah, but
I'm not disagreeing with you. We brought a manager in this season
to take us up.
Shez, we was plateauing. We're given the crowds. There was a feeling amongst the club and the fan base that we're capable a bit more here.
Shez was never going to take us on. I understand that.
We didn't bring David Unsworth in to keep us up. His
first job was to keep us up. That was his first job.
Disagree.
Of course it was.
Disagree. No. It then turned into keep us up once he took us further down the league.
The players that we had at the start of the season would have taken us down, right? The squad that we had at the beginning of the season we'd have gone down, right? And if we hadn't signed the players that we've signed, the players that we've signed are now are an improvement on the players we've got. Next season, we're going to be signing players who are an improvement on the players we've got now. That's the way it's going to go. But the players that we signed this season aren't the players to take us to the league title or to be promoted. Or they were the players that we needed to have in to keep us in this division. And then we're going to build on that. And that's why I think there's just been a lot of short-sightedness.
I think also there's got to be credit where credit's due to Steve Thompson as well, because some of the signings that he's made as well, he's been part of these signings as well, hasn't he? Like Alex Reid being one of them. You know,
Alex Reid already got a game because Fondop got sent off.
I know, but I'm just saying that Steve Thompson.
Well, we don't know that, do we? Because you make a lot of assumptions, guys.
We do know that.
No, he wasn't. But he was being kept out of the team. He was being kept out of the team for a reason. Maybe he wasn't right. Maybe his attitude wasn't right. Maybe there was something that you and I don't know about why Alex Reid wasn't being played. That David Unsworth, as the manager, had to manage. Right? You said that 75% of fans are against Unsworth. That's a stat that you pulled out your ass because you've got nothing to back that up. No, but like
I said, I believe it was a guesstimation.
Right? Okay, exactly. You said it had gone from not being 50-50 to being 75%.
You're talking pipe.
I'm not at all.
Absolutely talking pipe.
Because you had a debate with Andy the other day, but you didn't listening to that. I wasn't convinced by anything you said. I was completely behind everything that Andy had said. There wasn't any actual points that you made that were based in fact, or like you 75%. Do you know what I mean? Like you just pulled it out of the air.
You're actually a little bit gutted you weren't there, weren't you?
A little bit. So we're doing it now, aren't we?
Well, let me ask you the same question then.
Go on.
What one redeeming quality have you seen in David Unsworth that gives you the opinion that we can do something with us next season?
I'll tell you what, because I'm capable of viewing things slightly like broader. It's not about what I see every week on the pitch, right? There's a lot more going on for David Unsworth's job as a football manager in and around the club, working with the players. There's things that the board and the CEO and everybody else sees on a daily basis that we're not privy to. That's important. That stuff is important.
Answer the question.
I am answering the question.
I'll also say around it like a politician.
I'm not dodging around it.
What quality have you seen in Unsworth?
I see the players seem to like him. They seem to be playing for him.
What quality have you seen in Unsworth?
What quality? What do you mean? How do I see a quality?
Well, what do you see in the good manager that he?
I'll tell you what I see. But I think somebody who's passionate. He's dedicated to the job. He wants to succeed. He's from a successful background, played at the highest level, so he's used to winning. Right? He's got about. We have to give him time to show us the qualities that he's got. 35
games, a lot of time. That.
It's not a lot of time.
In the modern game, it is.
It's not. No, but look at where we've come from, Gaz.
It's but that's only 10 games short than a full season, and most managers don't get that.
But look at where we've come from. Look at the squad that we had at the beginning of the season. It was crap. Absolutely crap. Off the back of having absolutely no infrastructure at the club whatsoever. And everybody's coming in now expecting David Unsworth to have turned everything around in 2 minutes, blaming everything on him, instead of looking at the situation that we had at the football club for 4 or 5 years before he came in. That is what made the situation that we're in. This is not David Unsworth's fault, and everyone's blaming David Unsworth. Not everybody, 75% of fans apparently are blaming David Unsworth, right? And it's not his fault. If we are playing the way that we're playing now, next season he will have failed, right? And he will have to acknowledge that, because but we have to give him until next season to show us what he's trying to build and what he's trying to achieve. And I don't think that he's had that opportunity yet, despite it being 35 games. That's my point, and I don't see the point in banging on about how bad a manager he is when he hasn't had the time to prove himself.
I think there's both sides to the argument here, because I can see Gaz's point, I can see your point. 35 games is a long time in the modern game, and ultimately you're based on results, aren't you? His results haven't been what the fans have expected, and I don't think, to your point, that David Unsworth has had the experience that in the National League, and he's still learning on the job. So it's a fine balance. I think he does need longer. However, the results have to be a lot better than what he's done so far, because his win percentage is not.
It's not improved,
great. It has improved, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But it's not where I don't think the board expected it.
No, I don't think.
Hang on, given where the board expected it to be, I don't think
where did the board expect it to be? We don't know, do we?
No, but anyone in the right mind, you know what I mean. Shez had a better win rate, didn't they? So you don't employ another manager then to get a lower win rate. That's just just like anything, isn't it? You know what I mean?
But that's hypothetical, isn't it?
It is, of course it is. But that's, as you said, in terms of you can't work at a show like this without hypothesis.
Everything has to be
But what I'm saying is,
I'm
looking at both sides of the argument. I think Gaz has got some good points. I think you've got some good points. But again, he does need more time. But how much time do you give him? Do you know what I mean?
Because he's got a 3.5-year deal, hasn't he?
I'm well aware of that.
I know, yeah.
But
what do you think?
You just see out the contract then? If
I just go, lads.
It's up to the board, innit? It's up to the board to make the decision, right? So as fans, we can either try and accept everything that we've been through, where we are, the board, and all the good stuff that's going, and let them get on with it, and let him get on with it, and back him, back them. And if things aren't going the way that the board expect, then they'll sack him and bring somebody else in. That's up to them. I just don't see the point. I think that's kind of like where me and Andy are coming from, of what's the point in having a go at him every single given opportunity when there's no discernible benefits in doing it.
Just a quicker before I go. If you're winning a game or you're drawing and not losing, and there's a section of the fans shouting, "This football is shit," that is a red flag.
It's a red flag that we've got stupid supporters.
And no, that's not just Oldham fans.
Yeah, it could be.
Because it's not just Oldham fans. It's not. And you're talking as if you're far more intelligent than everyone else who sits in the ground with you. And it's condescending. And it's not because actually, when football's not good, the fans express the frustrations. It's nothing new. This is just what happens. It just is what it is. And when it's great, they'll celebrate.
Not all fans shout your football is shit. Not some people have self-control.
I said a number. I said a number. You're not listening.
No, I am listening. I challenge you. See, it's like there's certain cultures and attitudes and ways of behaving in football that people just say, "Oh, it's just the way it is." Well, I say, well, that doesn't make it right, does it?
Not necessarily. That doesn't make it right, what it is.
It doesn't make it productive. It doesn't make it helpful, and it doesn't transform or potentially help to transform the nature of the football club and the fortunes of the football club. All it does is keeps us in a certain mindset. I challenge it. If it makes me sound condescending, that's fine. I don't care. If whatever, I don't care. I think that people singing that kind of stuff, I'm not going to say they're stupid, but I think that is stupid because I think it's counterproductive and it doesn't help. So, you know what I mean?
It's what I'm not asking if you think it's stupid. I'm asking you not think it's a red flag.
I would not this season, no, because I see where we've come from. Like I've said to you guys, if next season we're playing football like that, then yeah, fair enough. It's a red flag because there will be no evolution.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, there has to be that evolution, and I'm saying give the fella a chance to bring in better players over the summer and to have a go again next season.
I mean, the fans haven't gone away, have they? There's still nearly 1,000 going to a dead rubber on a Monday. So he is being back. The club is being back. So despite
they're also still turning around and shouting that to him, though, aren't they?
People are still going.
I know, but I'd rather they went and didn't sing "Your football is shit" when we're winning a game of football. It doesn't help. To me, it doesn't help. And
it did because we then got a penalty straight after it. So
I
think that was more for Sambu taking one for the.
It's a really difficult one because I can say there is a red flag. Matt, you are right. It's counterproductive. So as a manager, when you're on the sidelines and you're in, you're new to the job. You've got 35 games. You are trying different things. Nuttall went off injured, so he had to go to one up front, didn't he? To a point because he had to put Reed up on his own and have Sambu behind him.
I actually thought the 4-3-3 looked all right, to be fair.
Yeah, but again, it's like everyone at Oldham's, I want 4-4-2, and I think David Unsworth acknowledged it, didn't he, that he wants two strikers up front. However, you've got to see where it is,
Well, he's going to, like we said before, right? He's got to recruit now a squad to play the way he wants to play, right? Whether that be a 4-3-3, whatever, he hasn't got the squad to play the way he wants to play. So let's give him the chance to recruit the squad to play the way that he wants to play and to coach them in the way he wants to play it. And then we can have a debate about whether his football's shit or not. I don't think this season, because I don't think that he believes in all of those players. I don't think he believes that they're good enough. And I think he's trying to sort of like make do and mend with the squad that he's got, of players that he's got. That's my feeling on it. Now, he might not come out and say that because he, you know, for loyalty to his team, but like he's basically alluded to it over the season anyway in his post-match interviews that basically that, you know, the team just aren't able to do what he wants them to do. So we've just got to give him some time. I just think I'd love to just not hear any more of this shit about him being terrible and blah 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 until the end of the season. Let's just put it to bed. It's done. It is what it is. Unless, of course, we get relegated, Gaz. In which case, I'll be right behind you.
Which we won't.
Right. Which
if
we
it's
won't.
shit effective more often than not, it won't matter, will it? It's just when it's probably as ineffective as shit, and that can be, you know, winning 1 in 3 or losing every other game. When it's crap, people get frustrated. I liked it when we had Kewell in charge for an element, but then it changed in it because we couldn't keep clean sheets. But actually, you'd lose a game 4-3, but you didn't feel, sometimes losing that game 4-3 didn't feel half as bad as winning 2-0 at home against Maidstone. So it's
because it's about entertainment, isn't it? It's about football is that we go there to be entertained, and we watch football. We want to be entertained. You know, when we watch like Champions League and the Premier League, like last night, City and Bayern Munich was a fantastic game of football, really entertaining. City were brilliant. You know, we're watching that, and then you're watching Oldham v Scunthorpe, and it's, you know, it's a different ball game. So we go to the football, we go to Latich for a different experience than you know, to sit and watch it on TV. But
fundamentally, you go to watch your team win, don't you? That is the basis why everyone basically you go to watch a game of football for a competitive game of football and for your team to win. Yeah. That's it. That's it.
Little girls in bed.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, we need to get through a couple more calls. Good to talk to you guys. Take care, mate.
Good call.
Yeah, enjoyed that. That was a good little rant. Right, we need to get Michael in, don't we? He's been waiting for a while. Hey,
Michael.
Hello, Michael.
Bye, Michael.
Check 1 2 1 2. No. Okay. Oldham Stewart.
Hello.
Hey, lads, you all right?
Yeah, you?
Yeah, good, mate.
Yeah, good. Matt, just obviously our last few you've just been watching in. Obviously, you mentioned before about start of this season, we were crap. Our players were crap. But can you? And I'm not in or out of Unsworth, but you know, at this moment in time, we're not doing brilliantly in the league. We're mediocre. So we've got to judge Unsworth surely on his signings. Now, let's not forget Unsworth walked through the door on the 20th of September. So for me, he's had a good period of time. Yeah, all right. He's had 6-7 months to recruit players. Let's not forget the window only shut, 6 weeks ago. So, you know, he's very fortunate in terms of the transfer window. So in terms of players that were crap under Sheridan, under Unsworth, can you name probably more than 2 players from the minute Shez walked out, Unsworth walked in, where Unsworth has improved our football team with signings?
Kitchen.
Yeah.
Sheridan signed Kitchen.
No, it was Unsworth signed Kitchen.
Yeah, I think so. Yanni.
Okay.
Yeah, Hudson, who's the goalkeeper. Did he sign in?
Matt, he's played 3 games.
I know, he did all right when he came in, didn't he? So the point is, I made the point before.
Green.
The point that I made before is, I don't think that the players that are being signed now are signed to take us out of this division. They've been signed to improve the squad this season and keep us in the division. We've been through this on the podcast umpteen times. There was no recruitment infrastructure in place at the club when Unsworth came in. So they've had to do, not only have they had to recruit players, but they've had to recruit the people to recruit the players. So that wasn't in place.
Are we agreeing then Shez had it really, really tricky?
Shez had a nightmare of a job, but Shez is also would only deal with a certain number of people. He would only get recommendations of Tommy Wright and Darren Sheridan, for example.
You mentioned that Sheridan's recruitment was poor, but do we not give Sheridan time on knowing the infrastructure was tricky?
I don't think he had the knowledge anymore. I don't think he had the hunger, the passion.
No, I'm not saying that I wanted Shez, but we've turned around and said Sheridan's shit or his players were shite. But we knew that, he had no budget. He had nothing.
Sheridan signed players who would say yes to him. The club, no one wanted to sign for Oldham then because our reputation was gone.
No, I
Like,
get that. I get
so
that. But
Sheridan
we
was on a hiding to nothing, wasn't it?
I get that, but we were judging Sheridan before, weren't we, saying his players were crap. Them players were crap. But Sheridan had nothing. At least Unsworth had something, hasn't he, since he's walked through the door?
Yeah, and we've stayed in the division, and we're building for next season, and that's
Sheridan
as good
got
as it's going to
the
get.
players. If Sheridan wanted that player, the club went to get them. Gardner was Sheridan, Porter was Sheridan. He wanted Cooper, but I just don't think Sheridan had the contacts anymore. I just don't think he genuinely had the knowledge of the game. I think he was a couple of, was it 18 months out of the game before he came to try and save us last season, if not longer.
Yeah.
And he couldn't get the players, and he didn't have the contacts. And the rumor at one point that they were contacting the devil himself, I'm not going to mention his name, B.O., to see if he knew any agents or players to get players in at the start of this season. And that
Guys,
was...
Which is basically this. Sheridan's recruitment circle was too small, and the club didn't have an infrastructure of its own, which it now has, and that will benefit the manager going into next season. So,
and I don't think a head of recruitment would have suited Sheridan either. I don't think Sheridan would have wanted that. Also, it was...
By the way, guys, this isn't me saying that I watch Sheridan. This isn't me saying Sheridan's scared. This is me saying that... This is me saying that we're all getting fed up of, we're slagging Unsworth off, but we're soon critical of Sheridan's signings, aren't we? Even though we know he had hardly no budget, he didn't have head of recruitment. So really, he had it really, really tricky. But we're judging Shaz's signings when, it must have been an absolute nightmare for him. So going forward, what I've said, Unsworth's signings, and let's be honest, the 11 players that Latics play most week, they're not good enough. We could probably take 2 or 3 of them with us next year. Ultimately, they're not good enough. Organ's not good enough. He's just an average footballer. I watched Wrexham Notts County the other day, and although I like Sheridan in that CDM role, and I was the first one to say when he played right back, get him out the team. I think he's been brilliant since he played CDM. But Wrexham and Notts County don't carry those type of players. Somebody that will do a job. They're all footballers.
That's because they pay. That's because they play conference players, like League One players. League One wages to play in the conference, isn't it? So
I get it.
We're not. That's not where we're at, and that's not. We shouldn't be judging ourselves against them. What we should be looking at is building things in the right way, and that's what I think is being done. They've got to get the infrastructure of the club right first. That will have cost a lot of money. Get the setup, get the recruitment, get the facilities, the players' lounge, all this other stuff. Like, there's been a lot of work that's gone into that this season. We've had to sign players that will keep us in the division. Some of those players, if you put better players in and around them in that squad, they will look like better players. There are players in that team that are good enough to be in a promotion team next season, but they need better players in and around them to bring the best out of them, and they need to be playing in a system that David Unsworth has designed and wants and coaches for and all that kind of stuff. Then we can judge David Unsworth. That's my point. I think people are trying to judge him too soon. Shez came in to do a job to try and keep us up at the end of last season. He did his best. We love him for it. It didn't work. He was never going to be the man to take us forward. He knows that himself as much as anyone else. So Unsworth's come in. He's kept us up. He's done the work in the background. I just want everyone to stop bitching at him and give him the chance that he deserves to take us out of the division next season. If he fails, if he falls flat on his ass, then fair enough. He'll get judged like every other football manager does. But I just want to see him showing a little bit of respect and given a chance to do his job.
Does it also not worry you, though, that there's not one Everton loanee come in? What does that tell you maybe about him?
It tells me that Everton don't want to send their young players to the National League, and they probably want to send them to the EFL. That's what it tells me.
Yeah.
I can't see why would a Premier League club want to send footballers to the National League.
There's plenty in our league now.
From the Premier League?
Yeah, absolutely.
Who?
There's loads of Premiership players.
Like
in our league. There's loads of youth players. Let's not forget, did we not take Charlie Welling from Man United this year?
That's a very good point.
So Keith Curl, for instance, was notoriously known to take Alan Mope everywhere with him, and he has done that. Sheridan will take his players with him, at least one. We haven't brought one Everton youth team player into our squad. Does that not worry a little bit, thinking
Sambu, Yanni were both Everton players, the youth players?
Well, he's just brought Sambu recently, and which we
so
we
there's a
can't
connection there, isn't
There's
there?
connections there. Yeah.
Paddy says that there's a couple of Arsenal lads at Bromley. So,
but lads that are at Everton now, in that youth team where Unsworth's been around for years, he's been there a very long time. They should surely be coming with him on loan. But
under 23 players at Everton, probably for a bit of context, they're probably on about 25 grand a week, if not more.
Yeah, but we wouldn't pay those, would we? We just take them on loan. That's part of the. But we still usually find part of the deal is, that if they come and sign for you, they play.
Yeah.
I think. It depends.
I think you have to sign a proportion of the wages, even 20% or whatever. It's going to be $5 in it.
We don't know going forward. We might have some sign. This season, what did we need? If they're going to send them from Everton or from the Premier League, they're going to be young, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're going to be. It's going to be like, is that what we needed this season? We've seen it. We've seen it when we had the likes of Charlie Wellens. They were too young and inexperienced, but they weren't what we needed.
Carragher was the only one who had a bit about him.
Carragher had a bit about him. Got injured. Yeah, and that's a good point. Where did he come from?
Wigan,
right. So but it has to be the right players for the club. It has to be, so maybe we'll start to see the fruits of that a bit further down the line. This season,
is Will Sutton the correct youth player for you?
Well, he's not a right back, is he?
No, I'm not having to go at him at all because I think he's played out of position and he's had to make do with it. But he's not the right youth player, is he? So there must be somebody at Everton who will probably be a better youth prospect than him.
Well, I would rather see Will Sutton, one of our players, get the experience in the team than an Everton player. To be perfectly honest with you, I'd rather see that.
Maybe would you rather have that rather than a player that could improve the team then?
Well. Yeah, I mean, I think that if you're going to be bringing loan players in, I want to see one or two that do exactly what you just said, that improve the team, not just sort of like filling out the squad like we've had in the past. They've got what we need is a really, really good squad of full-time professionals. We need a couple of youth players coming through our own from our own system, and then you need one or two really, really good loan players coming in that improve the team. That's the balance that you want. Just think what we had like under the previous regime where we were fleshing out the squad with like 6-7 loan players who were all as bobbins as the other.
That brings me on to that last thing. Have you noticed with Unsworth, he doesn't really play loanees? Abraham doesn't play him. Peter Clark doesn't play him. Roberts, we had from Birmingham, didn't play him. Charlie Wellens didn't play him. He doesn't really, he might put one in, but he doesn't tend to play loanees, David Unsworth.
Chapman's had a few games, I know, but I know what you mean.
I think not really put him in.
I think that's good. I think if they're not good enough, then what's the point? You might as well give the players that that are our own players.
Abraham, when he's come on, usually has had an impact. All right, he's gone. I don't know where he's been for the last couple of games, whether he's been injured or he's just not found the form or whatever.
Oldham fan says that at the forum they were going to try and move away from loans. He thinks so. Well, they think there you go. So. Anyway, listen, we're going to have to move on because we've still got two callers to get through. But thanks for getting in touch, mate. Appreciate it.
Cheers,
Take care of yourself.
Bye-bye.
Right, Daryl, you'll be up next. Let's just have a chat with Ibit. All right, Ibit.
Good evening, Ibit.
Evening, guys. How are you, pal?
Yeah, good.
Been a lively one tonight, Ibit.
Yeah, I've been listening. We need a charity match between you and Gaz.
Me and Gaz? No, he's too. I'm too old. I'm too old for that. He's too young, Gaz.
Yeah. I don't want you guys to fall out. Some good views being said tonight. My view will not change at all.
We have to be able to. We have to be able to disagree.
Yeah, I think he has been bat fully. It's been shambolic under him. He shouldn't be given an opportunity next season. And I'm very disappointed in the club's decision to keep him. He should be fired, sacked on his way out, and a proper manager coming in. And season tickets, fair enough. It might be good offers, but I think it's just to get fans on the side. But I won't be falling for them season tickets until a decision is taken on David Unsworth. I don't want to see him there next season.
So you're not going to buy a season ticket if David Unsworth is still in charge next season? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's correct. And it's my right.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
I'm not here to stop anyone's rights.
And secondly, I'm disappointed in Darren Royal. At least he could have opened some talks with me. And I just don't like. I know, I know we've gone through this.
Keep going. So if Darren gets a phone call off a disgruntled fan, does he have to stop what he's doing throughout the day to go through what their thoughts are and why you should placate them and try and keep them happy. I know a fan is a
No,
fan.
but come on, guys. I understand what you mean, but I've sent him few emails. He's seen them, or at least he could have acknowledged it. Maybe he could have said few words.
But didn't you say that Frank emailed you?
Yeah, Frank did email, but well, Frank's not a football person. I tried to put it into Frank's head what needs to be done, but he said no, it doesn't work like that. It's the board decision. I said it's your money. You need to make the decision, Frank.
No,
and I don't want to say too much to Frank because why? He's at the same age as my father. I don't want to say anything bad to him because he saved the club. I'm grateful for that. And Luke's a lovely person. I know Luke is listening on this tonight, and I'm hoping he will respond to my emails because if we are serious about season tickets and next season promotion, David Unsworth has to go.
Right. Well, we'll leave it with that a bit because that's your point. You've made it very clearly. Thank you very much for getting in touch. We need to get through to Daryl before we close the show. Daryl.
Hi, lads. You all right?
Stoke's finest. How are you doing, mate?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear us?
I've got new pods in.
Oh, yeah. No, it's all good. Yeah.
Very nice.
Right. A quick point on that. Was it Gaz before who were arguing with you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, we were having a debate.
A badinage to and fro.
Right. Well, if he's still listening, he wants to look on YouTube on the Scunthorpe website. One of the Scunthorpe fellas interviewed Frank before he got on his bike and drove off.
Oh,
now,
yeah,
he asked him, have you seen it?
Yeah, no, I haven't actually watched it, but I know the guy and I've seen the still of it. But yeah.
Right. Well, that Gaz needs to watch it because they asked Frank what does he do to the football club? He said, first of all, is survival this season. These are Frank's words. Survival this season. Next season, consolidation. And hopefully push on to promotion. Them are Frank's words.
Yeah.
Now, you need to, that Gaz needs to look at that because he said he won't be happy or whatever he said about promotion or going up or whatever. I can't really remember now. But I just sort of point that out to you all. I won't want to come on, but I need to point that out to you. Have a look on the Scunthorpe website. Listen to Frank talking to that guy.
Yeah, I mean, he picked me up on me saying that you know the job was survival for this season, and that Unsworth was brought in. He wasn't brought in specifically to keep us up, but it was his primarily the first and foremost. There was no other expectation this season than just staying in the division. And the signings that can you hear us?
Daryl?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I can hear you now.
Yeah. So, look, I mean, Robbie, who likes, to get involved every week, is saying that Frank was just being diplomatic. Well, that's your opinion. Yeah, Frank might have just been saying what he meant.
Let me start you there. I remember what it was. You said Unsworth were brought in to keep us in this division. Yeah, you said that, didn't you? And I totally agree with it. That's why he was brought in. But he was also brought in to try and build on the shit show from last owners. Because I agree with you. Last season, before the Rothwells came in and everything, we had nothing. All we were going to do is go down and down and down and probably out of business. And like Frank said, and these are Frank's words again, he said they were days away from administration. That's exactly how bad it was getting.
I know, and Unsworth has been brought in to take us out of this division. There's no question about that, right?
Yeah,
that's his long-term job. But this season, the job was to keep us in the division. Next season, it's to try and at least get into the playoffs and build a squad that is capable of promoting, or start the process of building a squad which is capable of promotion. And then season 3, if we've not done it next season, the job is to get us out of the division in 3 seasons. That's the ideal scenario. But look, we have to be realistic. Clubs like Notts County, Wrexham, Stockport, Torquay, who are going down again, have struggled in this division. It's not easy. Chesterfield have been down here for a while now.
No, well, I've been a supporter for a fucking long time. I'm 60 now, so it's like 50 odd years, whatever it is. I've seen it all. I've seen the great days, glory days, and the shit show that comes after it, and carries on being a shit show and carries on being a shit show. I'm just grateful now that finally it's been stopped. But you can't, like you say, you can't stop it and turn it around in a few weeks and say, right, we'll go from motion now. It's going to take at least a couple of years, I think.
Yeah,
but I would be disappointed if we didn't get to the playoffs next season. But I'm not expecting automatic.
No, well, there's some of us within the fan base that are expecting us to be in the top 2 next season. there are others that we've all got different expectations, but I just want people to make sure that they're really thinking about how they come to that conclusion. Like whatever your conclusion is, like based on, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think Rob makes a good point here. He said Rex have been struggling for years. It's only the one that's got on the promotion, hasn't it? And it's true, isn't it?
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, you need. You know, you look at this way. You look at like Dorking and what they've achieved.
Yeah,
it's absolutely phenomenal. But they've done that through because the guy because of an exceptional guy with an exceptional team of people that have stuck by each other, that believe in each other, that are loyal. What was the 3 things he said? Loyalty. Do you remember? You asked him the 3.
Loyalty, passion, and it was trust, wasn't it? It was trust, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that. But it was 3 things, and it was all about building up that trust and loyalty and that team and that spirit. Now that's what we need to try and achieve at Latics. And if everyone's gonna start calling for the manager's head because they don't like the way he plays football, then we're never going to achieve it. If the next manager comes in and for some reason they take a disliking to him, we're never going to get anywhere, are we? We need to build this sense of loyalty and commitment and a team within. It's not just about the first team; it's the whole club as needed to be rebuilt. Can't say it.
Just one last thing on the Scunny game, change the subject a little bit. Actually, what I've watched on National League TV, which is a fucking nightmare to watch, honestly, it's terrible. But when Elliot, is it Nuttall had to go off because of injury, the game totally changed. And I've not been a big Nuttall fan, as I said last time I was on. But he seems to have improved over the last few games. And on Saturday, he was actually getting that ball up front and keeping hold of it. And then he got injured, and that guy had to come off. I can't remember his name now. Sambo, is it?
Yeah.
Who I don't rate. I don't know. I've not seen enough of him, to be honest.
He made an impact when he came on, to be fair, but I think he had to. I think he had no choice but to. But
he had to do something.
Goal against Altrincham, so it's probably built his confidence up a little bit, and then he'd set that penalty. A bit of pressure.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I think Nuttall's going to be a player for us next season. I think
he is. Yeah. Now. Yeah. I'll eat my words because a few weeks ago I said I didn't like him, whatever. But when he had to go off on Saturday, the whole team, the game changed. Because we were well on the front foot with him on. And when he came off, Scunny would get back into it. But like I said earlier...
We'll see.
We'll just have to see.
He might get 20 next season with any joy. He could do with a couple of more goals before the end of the season. But
he's got a couple against Wealdstone, didn't he? And then he scored against Altrincham. So he's starting to get his.
Well, let's hope he could kick on. So he can kick on next season.
So we can all kick on next season.
That'd
be nice. To have a season where we're in and around the.
Well, I think we'll have a lot better season than this season.
Yeah, and this season's better than last season, isn't it? So slow progress, isn't it?
Yeah.
So in 6 seasons we'll be in Premier League.
Exactly. Right, let's leave it on that. All
right, cheers, lads.
Sense of optimism. Thanks.
Enjoy your new pods, mate.
Cheers, mate.
See you later.
Bye.
Where was this? Cracking show tonight. See you at the Big Beef Bollocks Barbecue Buzz. It's not quite called that, is it? But we appreciate the sentiment. And come on, we need you to buy your tickets.
There are limited tickets available.
Limited tickets available. Here's how you.
Don't miss this amazing one-off live event at the Barbecue Bus in Hollingwood on the 30th of April. It's me, the podcast team, doing a live show. We're going to have live music. We're going to have special guests on this stage. Whether or not this is going to be involved, I'm not too sure yet. But it's going to be an amazing event. It's going to be celebrating the last season that we've had in the National League. The club has survived. We've got new owners. It's a new era for the club. And we're going to have our first live event. So get yourself a ticket. Go to oafcpodcast.co.uk www.liveevent.co.uk/shop, and you can buy a ticket there. They're £15. It's going to be a really fun event. Doors open at 6 o'clock. It's going to go on until 10 o'clock at night. It's going to be a really good fun event on the bank holiday. So get yourself down to the Old School Barbecue Bus for the Boundary Park Alert System, live, loud, and easy. Can't get off.
Dave's been working really hard to get some guests for the show.
Yeah. Trump said no due to legal issues.
You've got somebody on the line, haven't you, who you've tried to get on the show? He
has been waiting with all the other callers.
To be fair, he's quite a big celebrity.
We couldn't really give him the tickets.
Hello. So I'd like to welcome to Latics Football Phone in Chris Eubank. Hello, Chris.
Hi, Matt.
Has Dave been on to you?
Yes, he has. Yes, I like the advert about the barbecue bath.
Yeah. Do you like beef?
It's quite nice. Yes.
Do you like beef paste?
Beef paste. What is that?
It's a northern delicacy.
A delicacy.
Sounds lovely. Yeah, it's really nice, Chris. You should really have it on some sandwiches.
Yes, I have cucumber on my sandwiches. So, you want me to come to this barbecue bath then?
If you don't, can you make it? Yes or no? We're running out of time.
No.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, cheers, Chris.
Bye.
Thanks.
So that's Chris Eubank, who can't come, but you should come because it's going to be funnier than that.
Yeah, and there won't be any crap impressions.
No,
well, not yet.
No. Did his balls drop mid-sentence?
I don't know. He's gone now, so it's too late.
We can't ask him, I'm afraid.
We may have a celebrity caller next week, so just keep you.
But hopefully not. Right. Thanks for getting in touch, everybody. Do go to the website, ofcpodcast.co.uk/shop to buy your tickets for the live event, which is on the 30th of April, just after the season finale against Bromley. What do I do now, Dave? Do I do
you go on comment?
Where is it? Credits, end of show. Thanks for watching. We'll podcast on Monday morning, and we'll see you for the phone in next Wednesday.
Sayonara.
The Boundary Park Alert System is hosted and produced weekly by Matt Dean, Andy Halliwell and Dave Bradley. A huge thank you goes to those people who already subscribe to the podcast. We appreciate you all, and if you'd like to help us out financially, please visit oafcpodcast.co.uk and click support or find the link in the show notes. It's only $2.99 a month to subscribe, but if you'd rather make a one-off donation, please visit buymeacoffee.com/OAFC podcast or click the link on our website. Please follow and interact with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and TikTok at OAFC Podcast, and subscribe to youtube.com/@OAFC Podcast, where you will find the Latics Football Phone In with myself and Dave Bradley live every Wednesday from 8:30 p.m. We'd like to thank Arlene Finnegan for writing our excellent weekly blog, which we encourage you to read on our website every Saturday morning. And thanks also goes to Paul Prendergast for providing us with all the Latics Mind questions. The title music for the show is by Manchester DJ and producer Starion, and for more information visit bandcamp.com/Red Laser Records. You can help change the game by listening to us on the Fan Hub app along with all major podcast platforms. Please like, subscribe and review the pod and help us climb the rankings to get more listeners wherever you listen. Thank you for listening, and if you'd like to be a guest or contribute to the show in any way, we'd love to hear from you. See you next week.